We're back in Richmond at the garden of Kathy La Liberté. Now, Kathy, this garden looks even more beautiful every time I come. It's just no weeds. It's just so much going on here. And right in front of us, it looks like we've just got a bumper crop of peas.
Yeah, this is, I have to say, this is a lot of peas. This is the first year I've grown bush peas, which are, they don't look, I guess they look like
kind of tall for
hedge
bush.
peas, I know. So they do have a little bit of a trellis. Usually I grow the tall ones, which in the storms we've been having, they just have gotten knocked over. So I decided I'd give these a try. And this is Sugar Sprint. They're edible pod peas. And there's a lot of them.
So tell me about picking these. Now I looked through and found a couple of nice big fat ones, but it looks like a lot of these are just coming along. And how do you tell when to pick?
Well, the thing with Sugar Snap peas is let the pods fill out. They're a lot more flavorful. You get more pea. And so the ones that are kind of like you had there, they're kind of
nice and fat.
Wait till they fill out and you can actually start to see the peas inside. You want to pick them before they get dull on the outside because then it gets starchy flavored. But even if you pick them a little bit young, they're still great.
Great. So moving up here, you have something under the white cloth. What's the surprise there?
Well, that surprise is hopefully going to be cucumbers when I take the cover off. If the cucumber beetles haven't eaten it all. I've had real cucumber beetle problems. I know a lot of people do.
I know. I cover mine early on in squash and so forth for the vine borer. I think, again, covering with this fleece-type material is one of the best ways, especially early in the season, to keep the pests off. But you got to remember, things that flower need pollination, and so you want to get it off so they can get pollinated or you won't get fruit.
And you also need to still rotate your crops because you don't want to put them where you had cucumbers before because a lot of times the bug is in the soil even before you put the plant in there and then you cover it in and then
so just move it to different
spots. You just can't see what they're doing.
Especially if you're replanting, right?
That's right. That's right.
So about the succession, which I know you do. Now up here is the fennel, which just looks gorgeous.
Yeah, that fennel is really huge. I've got a second crop down here where they're a little bit nicer. I'm going to use those for roasting because they're big and a little bit tougher. These are still small enough that they're really good just raw, sliced into salads. So I have some more started in the nursery bed that I have over there under shade netting where I have more fennel, I have more lettuce. This lettuce you can see is pretty much gone by. It's been hot the last week or two and it really went quickly. So I have some new starts under the shade netting. And
so you'll just keep some coming right through the season that way.
Right, and so when I pull these guys out, I won't put lettuce there again, but I'll probably put it over there where I had some broccoli that didn't make it.
Again, that's the index probably, right?
Yeah.
Now, tell us about the cilantro there. That looks beautiful.
Well, a lot of people have trouble with cilantro, just figuring out when it's ready and how it bolts really pretty quickly.
Bolt meaning it sends up the flower stalk.
Yep, so it sends up a big tall flower stalk. And so the way I try to deal with it is cut it when you're going to use it. Don't just take stems, just use scissors, cut it right at the ground, get a big fistful, and then it will regenerate at least once or twice. But I do have another crop of that coming too. So unlike parsley, which you plant once in the spring and you can keep cutting it, cilantro you usually need another crop or two to keep it going into the fall.
Now, no, lettuce will bolt too with the hot weather a lot of times.
And it just gets milky and kind of bitter.
So some things like what, cilantro, lettuce, and some spinach are ones that you want to have another crop, maybe a little nursery area, or even little packs, a cell pack, flat, something to have some coming along.
And transplant, wait for those rainy days, the cool rainy days. That's when you want to transplant, not on a hot sunny day because it won't work.
And then finally the peppers over there I want to mention. When do you pick those? Those look ready.
Yeah, well, you can pick, that's a funny thing, you can pick peppers pretty much any time. As the longer you leave them on there, they'll start to turn red. That's when I like them. So I tend to leave them on there. You said you like green.
Yeah, we tend to get anxious and impatient, and we want to have some peppers. So we pick them. They're fine, you know. But again, we realize later if we left them, they color up.
But there's plenty of peppers, and you can pick them when you want them.
Well, one of my favorites is garlic. Before we go, I want to take a look at your garlic.
Yeah, let me show you the garlic.
Most people know the garlic bulbs and you buy in the store, but this is how it really starts.
Yeah, these are this is the garlic about to go to flower. This is called a garlic scape, and as it matures, this will straighten out like this, and you'll see the typical globe flower up here. But you don't really want to let them do that. Although they look so cool like this.
They really are attractive.
I know. But if you snap these off, They come right off, and that is called a garlic scape. And you can use these, you can grill them, you can chop them up and use them in a salad. You can also make pesto out of them.
Great, so a lot of uses just for the scapes.
Yep.
And you do want to take those off, attractive as they are, because we found, we grow a lot of garlic, that if you leave them on, the plant's putting all its energy into making that flower, and you want it to put its energy into the bulb, because that's what actually, in a short time, when the leaves start dying back, that's when you harvest those bulbs, garlic bulbs. So, so you want the energy to go back into those, so you get as big ones as possible. And then, the thing I like, too, about garlic, in addition to, you plant it in the fall, which a lot of people don't realize, and then you can just forget about it, and it's really pretty carefree, I find.
Oh, very.
And then you harvest it in the midsummer, like I say, in about a couple, 3 weeks, and along about toward the end of July. And then you put something else in. And we've got these small peppers we put in. We've started the different types, so we get a second crop. So that's our succession.
Yeah,
We do that.
I usually put in fall lettuce and spinach and kale and stuff like that, which I actually have started in the nursery bed.
Well, great. Well, one of the things to watch for is, saw these little chew marks here. There's a new pest. I hate to mention this, always something.
I thought it was
but it's
fine
called a
until
leek
you
moth.
came.
It was
Yes.
just a few years ago found, actually in the U.S., the first place was over in Plattsburgh, New York.
Ah.
And it's a moth that lays eggs, and the larvae will actually, you open it up and you can look for them. I didn't see any luckily in here, but you see this kind of chew marks on here, and the foliage starts to go down. Unfortunately, they like all alliums, things related to leeks, like the onions and garlic. So we had ours covered this year. I had a friend that didn't have his covered nearby. He lost all his garlic. So hopefully you don't get this, but watch for it.
Wow.
And if you do, there are some organic sprays you can use.
Okay, I'll be calling you up.
So let's go to the studio now and see what we can do with all this produce.